I want to talk about James Cameron a little bit because James Cameron also came up in the news recently when he was talking about Titanic. Now, Titanic, again, is coming back out for Valentine's Day. We talked about that in the show. And since it's coming back out for Valentine's Day so it can make more money, of course, it just got knocked out as it was number 3 highest grossing movies of all time. Now it's number 4, and Avatar: The Way of Water overturned it. And now that's the number 3 movie highest grossing of all time, which is one thing. But James Cameron's talking about the whole conspiracy of the door in the water with Jack and Kate, right? Jack and Rose.
Yeah.
Jack and Rose. Jack and Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Rose.
Yes. So he decided because of the anniversary, he said, I'm going to put it to test. I'm going to put a board in the water. I'm going to get 2 people to play the characters, and we're going to see if Jack could actually live and put it to rest once and for all. Now now he did this test, and at the end of the whole thing, here's kind of what he had to say about the whole situation with this. That it was, it was troubling. People kept wanting to cancel it, and that. I mean, I just feel like he had problems with this over and all for years, that people were giving him shit that, like, you can save Jack. Like, why didn't she save Jack? They put a life jacket on this guy, and I guess if they were both on the board at the same time and she had given his life jacket to him, they would have both lived. He would have been able to survive for hours.
A life jacket. They could have just been on the fucking board. It was tremendous.
But let me just explain. Let me just explain for a second.
Let me just explain. You don't need to explain. We saw it.
Time out. So James Cameron said that if Rose would have given him her life jacket, it would have made him dry up a little bit so he wouldn't have froze to death, and he would have lasted multiple hours on that board. And if they both would have shared it, he would have lived. But at the end of the day, Jack wouldn't do that because he wanted her to live, and he didn't care about his own life, and so he died so she could live.
Well, that's a stupid comment.
Ridiculous. But he still didn't say, he still wouldn't admit that it was, that he lived, that he could have lived. Now, that being said, what do you think, Joanna?
Okay, I'm gonna pop in. I'm gonna pop in on this one. Because not only is Leonardo DiCaprio, sorry, block your ears, my real husband and love of my life, but first of all, let me just quickly also say, I'm surprised they're going to re-release it for Valentine's Day. And I'm like, oh, what a great Valentine's story.
It's a money grab.
It originally released right around Christmas. And so they're like, we're just going to re-release it around all the major love holidays. Like, that's what we're going to do, which I find hilarious. But additionally, I'm like, clearly Rose was also not about him living, because if she had been, she would have worked harder while she was in the stupid water in the life vest on the door to be like, let's find a way. Like, let's find a way for both of us to make it. Instead, she was like, no, you chill in the water and chances are you're not going to make it. But I'm going to go on to live a wonderfully happy life and hopefully ride side saddle on every horse I run into from here to Timbuktu. Any thoughts? You have anything to say?
Yeah, what do you think, Chris? Do you think that he's wrong, that Jack would have lived and that she should have shared the door? And you think it's funny that he's doing this now, like 25 years later?
Yeah, I thought this was brought up like years and years ago. Like
it keeps coming up. That's why he's addressing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was Jack, I'd be like, can you just get the move over a little bit?
He literally just threw me off an ottoman. And we are not in frigid cold water where there are sharks and things below us. He literally just tossed me from the ottoman at the beginning because they needed a shirt to have full frontal center stage situations. So clearly they're not the same person.
Anyways,
that's not a thing.
He got away with it, and so he made a lot of money. Sabrina.
What?
What do you think?
Yes. What do you think about this, Sabrina? Do you think that it's a good thing that he did this test now, or do you think it doesn't even matter anymore? People have made their own judgments. Like, what do you think?
He did the stupid test, and he was like, well, in some scenarios, Jack lives. Yeah, in all scenarios, Jack lives. He weighed 4 pounds. He was like the size of her thigh. He could have just easily hurled himself up on that board, and everything would have been fine. He could have laid on top of her. He could have laid next to her. He could have sat on her fucking face. It would have been fine. He weighed 4 pounds. It is ridiculous that he froze to death in that fucking water. If she would have given him the life jacket, are you kidding? The life jacket?
That was the big thing.
Water freezing to death with his frigid little hand holding onto her, and she's like beached on this giant door.
Rigor mortis.
Ridiculous.
He rigor mortis himself.
Ridiculous. Yeah, and then his hand, she had to like rip his poor cold dead hand. And then he fell into the water. And she was like, oh my God, how about you let him on the fucking door, lady? Ridiculous.
Yeah, this is what everyone's fighting about for years now, you know? For years, everyone's been mad about this shit.
And you want to call it a love story? The love story would have been if he got on the goddamn door. That is not a love story. She let him die.
Little known fact, I originally thought that she ripped off his thumb. If you think about, like, when I saw
and the sound
times, I thought she ripped his thumb off and he went down into the water.
She might have. She might have. She literally sentenced him to death by putting him in that water. So she could have broke his thumb. She broke his whole body. He's dead. She murdered him.
His spirit. He no longer is with us.
Murdered him. Well, I'm glad she went through all the effort to cut him out while all the water was rising to get him out of them handcuffs so she could murder him in the water.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, James Cameron.
That's a good point. You
should have just left him there and to drown because he was going to drown anyway because you're fat. Yeah. Like, just stop.
Well, she wanted to be with him in those last moments. She loved him. She held on to him for dear life.
If she loved him, she would have pulled him on the fucking goddamn door, Brian.
She held on to him?
They even did tests to see, like, if they were exhausted. They had these two stand-ins, like, reenacting it, like, paddling in the water really hard and being all exhausted to see if that would cause, you know, them to actually be able to live. It's just a weird test to me. You know, it's like, was the water freezing cold when they did this?
You could have done anything but what they did, and he would have lived. That is the test.
She went
period.
What Sabrina just said is 100%. She went with the thing and she tried
with a hatchet.
She went back
to save him.
She looked really good.
Doing
it.
He's like she was looking great.
But
and then she was like, bye. See you later.
Yeah. And
and
of course we keep going back to this. We keep watching it, wanting to, you know, debate this topic. It's just been happening for years. So he finally addressed it, which is good that he finally addressed. Because for years he's saying that we're silly. He even said this whole thing is like he can't believe this has been going on for so long, and that people are so worried about this. And it's like,
I'm sure Brooklyn, who is their 3-year-old daughter, would be like, "Why isn't he on the fucking door, mommy?" Like, I mean, anyone can notice that he could fit on that door with her. It is ridiculous.
She would have been like, get up on the door, Daddy. I'm just saying.
Door, daddy, door.